The AWARE project's aim is to balance the public conversation about psychedelics, spread accurate information, and give a new face to psychedelia. We feel that this change will occur through connection and relationship, one individual at a time. We are calling on everyone whose lives have been improved through the mindful use of psychedelics to educate themselves and become ambassadors for the psychedelic experience. Show those around you that people who use psychedelics mindfully cross all social, racial, economic, and political boundaries.
Veronica, and introduce our speaker. So Veronica Munoz is a holotropic breathwork facilitator, certified by the Grof transpersonal training in 2009. She's experienced holotropic breathwork since 1999 and has facilitated more than 180 holotropic breathwork sessions at workshops, retreats, and GTT training modules in the USA, South America, including Chile, Argentina, Colombia, Brazil, and Europe, in Czech Republic, Germany, and Serbia. Veronica worked in Chile for 15 years supporting human resources development as a full-time organizational psychologist with a master's in business administration. At the same time, she was actively focused in her self-exploration, experimenting with a wide range of healing modalities. With no doubt, holotropic breathwork has been the most powerful tool in this process. Through it, she has embraced inner healing and spiritual awareness. This experience has encouraged her to dedicate her efforts to facilitate others embarking on their own holotropic breathwork journeys in a safe and supportive setting. Veronica moved to the USA in 2013, and currently she hosts holotropic breathworks here in San Diego and co-facilitates workshops and retreats in Seattle. So without further ado, please welcome our speaker tonight, Veronica Munoz.
Thank you so much. I am very, very excited and very grateful to our project for being really open this space for holotropic breathwork here in San Diego. It's really, for me at least, like having the chance to bring this work to San Diego, work that has been for me for almost 20 years, my best kind of partner in my own inner exploration. So having the chance to share this with you is really, really something that fulfills my soul, my heart. You notice that I have an accent, so if there is any moment, like if you don't understand something, I have some challenges in some words. I did a talk years ago and I was talking about workshops. But it seems that the pronunciation was kind of different, so people were understanding worships. So they thought that I was talking about religion or a cult or something like that. So before going into that, if you don't understand something, just please let me know and I can like rephrase that and try to explain. So yeah. Have somebody here have experienced holotropic breathwork before? Okay. Thank you. And expanded the state of consciousness. Have anybody here, beside the people that have experienced expanded state of consciousness? Aha. Great. So the idea today, and this is what I hope that we will fulfill, is that I want to introduce you holotropic breathwork since, like, from the beginning, how it was created, how it unfolded, and show you at the end how a holotropic breathwork session or workshop is structured. So you can really get a sense of not just kind of the technique, it's more about where it's involved with, like where it's coming from and what are the foundation of the work that was developed by Stan and Christina Grof. So there they are, Stan and Christina Grof. They developed holotropic breathwork in the mid-70s at Esalen. Essentially, Stan, at that point, he had been working for around 30 years in expanded state of consciousness with LSD. So at that point, LSD was like not legal anymore for research. So he was trying to find another way to kind of help people to go into this expanded state of consciousness without using a substance that was illegal at that point. He's from Czech Republic, so as an immigrant, he didn't want to be involved with anything that could be kind of not considered legal. So the word holotropic, to take that out of the question initially, Stan coined this word before he created holotropic breathwork, and it's acronyms that is coming from Greek. The word holos, that means wholeness, and the word to pain, that means moving towards. So holotropic means moving toward wholeness. And what he was trying to convey with that is that in our ordinary state of consciousness, we have access to a very limited possibility of experiences. So holotropic states that he mentioned, it's kind of the possibility to open to more experiences that in our Western society has been qualified as unusual, pathologized in some of those, consider things that are related with religion, that are primitive. So the idea of using kind of holotropic is to say, no, there are more. Like the wholeness includes other things that are with all the possibilities that are there, that are not included in that map. So I will show you next what is the map that he proposed. The other thing that was so clear for him is that working with this expanded state of consciousness, it's key, the set and setting that those experiences are holding by. And set has to be with the intention, why I am going to have this experience. It's different if I am going to I want to get high, I want to have a new experience, than if I want to explore myself, I want to heal myself, transform. So that makes a difference in relating how can be the potential of this substance to let you go into transformative experiences. And the setting is about where are you doing it? What is the context? Are you in a safe context? Are there people that can hold your hand if you are going into a bad trip? All those things are related with how much these experiences can really have an impact in the life of the person, or be just one more experience that I can have in other, like having a trip or taking LSD. Another thing is that what he saw during, he was taking note of every session that he was part of or he was supervising. And when he moved from Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia at that point to United States in the 60s, half of his baggage was the notes that he took from his, all the sessions. He, at this point, he has been directly or indirectly supervised around 4,500 sessions with LSD. So, what he started doing was to take, what are the common in these all things? And something that for him was very clear is that when people go into this expanded state of consciousness that he calls holotropic, because they have this potential, is that activate that self-healing intelligence that is in the psyche, that is the one that guides the experience while the person is into the experience. And the other thing that for him was very important to get from that is that the difficult experiences, if the person is allowed to go all the way through the difficult experience, it can have a huge healing and transformative potential. So what he was witnessing is some people having this experience with LSD and getting kind of in a more active or kind of coming up anxiety or those kind of things. Using tranquilizers was the worst thing in terms of letting the experience to really get to the point that can solve itself instead of stop it in the middle. So for him it was so important to put there that let the process unfold as much as it's possible until the end that the process itself generates, more than trying to give it a direction from outside. So what I call it a stand because it's kind of like Dr. Grof supposed to be in terms kind of more formal. But he's a very how to say, modest person. So he always in his talk he say, please don't call me Dr. Grof, call me Stan. So I am used to that to say Stan. So the cartography of the psyche that he, after these years like working, includes three big categories. The first one is the biographical one. And that is what psychology and psychiatry has developed during like more than a century. That is all what happened between the moment that you are born until the present moment. So, and through all the experiences that he was witnessing, he realized that many of those things are okay, like are true, like what Freud at some point kind of cried, yeah, there are people that when they go into biographical experiences, using LSD and then after that with holotropic breathwork, those dynamics come up through, like during those experiences. So it's like, yeah, that is one of the, for saying in some way, the territory that can you go and explore when you are in this expanded state of consciousness. The second group, and I will go a little deeper in this, is the perinatal. That is, peri is around and natal is the birth. So are the experiences that are since like you are conceived, or the baby is conceived, until the moment that is born. So there are a lot of experiences that have been kind of shown, or the people have reported, that related with that kind of part of their life that is not like when they were born, it's before that. And the third one is what he called transpersonal. And transpersonal is because transcend the personal. So I will go there a little more in detail, but there are all those experiences that are not related with this persona that you are in this moment. They are beyond that. So being in those experiences, you can go in mystical experiences, what is called the spiritual experiences, that transcend what is your individual life in this world. Any question until now? Everything okay? Yeah. So I don't want to go into the detail because I could be talking the whole night, but I want to give you kind of an idea how the perinatal is seen through kind of what Stan described and what people were telling him after their experiences. And he described during the perinatal 4 matrices that he called. And the first one is when the baby is born, the mainstream says that the baby cannot have memories because the cortex still is not fully, and help me with that word because it's always like myelinized, okay? So that is the reason that they say, okay, no, babies come with no memory, so everything starts in the moment that the baby is out of the womb of the mother. But like in the experiences with this kind of thing, many people connect with experiences that are related during the pregnancy of their parents, even getting information that there was no way that they could know if they weren't kind of getting some sense of that inside there. So just to kind of show in some way how I want to use like carefully the word, but how sometimes science can be very narrow in the way that they approach, is that in 2000, Eric Kandel proved with the Aplysia snail, that is a kind of a sea slug, that those kind of very primitive species, they have memory and they can learn. So thinking that a baby that is almost totally developed with millions of neurons cannot have memory like before it's born, it's kind of like, no, it doesn't make sense. So the first perinatal matrices, the first one has to be where all the pregnancy. And if the pregnancy is a nice pregnancy, like the mother is expecting a baby, the mother is enjoying the pregnancy, there is no drug involved, alcohol or thing. People they describe, and this is kind of like, let's say, that the experiences can be kind of being in a cosmic ocean, like really kind of, many people related this kind of a part of their experiences as oceanic. It's like they are floating, everything flows perfectly. I remember one person in a workshop that she was saying that she was kind of, she thought about an apple and the apple was there, and the temperature was perfect, and she didn't have to do any effort, everything was done for her. So that can be descriptions of people that connect with this kind of good experience of pregnancy. When the pregnancy has not been that good, like this is like very, but that people can have experience of like terrified situations, life-threatened, feeling that something is kind of trying to kill them, that there are a lot of toxins around, and can be kind of attempts of abortion. So like many people describe that they realize about things like that during these experiences, and they realize that the experience is still there. Like maybe the consciousness is not registered, like it didn't happen, but at some level it's there. So working through those kind of things can be very, very powerful in terms of release things that have been there for probably many decades. Okay, so the second perinatal matrix has to do when the delivery starts, no? And you have like the contractions, but the cervix is not open. So the feeling that people describe in that is that no exit. Like I am stuck. Like I cannot go out. So people like describe that as like being octopus, kind of like struggling. The third perinatal matrix is when the cervix opens and start the process of pushing. So this one, like the baby going into the roller coaster, many people describe like that. It's like all the energy to be coming out, and let me get out here, I need to get it, get up. And can be very powerful in terms of energy that is related with that process of going through the birth canal. Thank you so much, the birth canal. And the fourth matrix, oh sorry, no, I am confused. The fourth matrix is when the birth happens, no, and it's the feeling of rebirth. It's kind of like the baby was in one state of total connection with the mother and comes out in a completely different state. So, like the description has to do with the phoenix, for example, that is reborn from the ashes. Many mystical and spiritual experiences for people are connected with this moment that they, I did it. So this is a very kind of quick way to show it, but it's just for you to get a sense like how much more things can be there that are not described in any of the psychology or psychiatry books. The transpersonal experiences, there can be infinity, but some of what people describe are the peak experience that Maslow talked about, like feeling, being, I remember somebody feeling that being a grain of sand in the beach, and just being there and feeling how the water was coming and moving, like moving with the ocean, and that was the experience. So it's really connecting with can be other beings, being a tree and feeling how the fluids go through the body as they go inside the tree, having the experience of being other animals, like a snake, and making noises that are related with that. So it's very powerful when people go to that other type of experiences that are not related with who I am here in this body and body here. So some people have encountered with other beings that they call ETs, so UFO experiences. Some people describe them as past life experiences, that they say, okay, yeah, I connected with a past life. People that don't believe in past life can see, okay, I connected with the collective unconsciousness that Carl Jung described. So, Stan's approach to this kind of experiences was not from the interpretation one, was more about just putting them together, those that are similar, and let the person to give it a meaning. So when we do holotropic breathwork, we don't try to get kind of the real meaning of what was the experience. It's more about exploring what this experience means for me. So that is the reason that I try to say for people that believe in past life, because people that don't believe in past life, they can find another meaning for the same experience. Okay, so it's open this to just what it's meaningful for each one. And something that Stan, when he created this cartography, he thought, oh my gosh, this is so new. Nobody has written about this before, because he couldn't find that in the books that he was taught in the university. But then when he started kind of coming out, he grew up in Czechoslovakia, and he was in the time that the communist regime was there. So materialism was kind of the top. No? So everything that was spiritual or thing was like no acceptable there. But as he started kind of going out and talking with other people and getting in touch with other traditions, he started to realize that he didn't discover anything new. It has been there for centuries, for millennia. That many traditions have done this kind of exploration before, and they have created this kind of cartography. So what he tried to do was to make it more positive possible to understand for our Western society, that could be kind of could be less difficult to understand using the Eastern way to approach this, or maybe the Native American approach. So what he, after he started with LSD, but then he realized that there are many technologies, what he called the technology of the sacred, that really open the possibility to go into this expanded state of consciousness. And there are different kind of breathworks and sound technologies, like this sensory overload, when you go to this tank of sensory deprivation, what many traditions have, going into a cave and stay there for a long time. All of those have been developed to connect with this expanded state of consciousness. And what he tried to kind of come with is like, okay, this is nothing new. So just kind of try to open to explore these other ways to get into this expanded state of consciousness. So, holotropic breathwork. So, any question until this point? So, when Stan was in Esalen, and he was kind of teaching, because he was invited to Esalen after the research in the East Coast, where he was working in Maryland, were suspended because there were no more funding for research with LSD, psilocybin, or any of these kind of bad drugs. He was invited to go to Esalen and write a book and kind of take time to put all what he had learned into more an academic way. And he started doing that, and he started doing talks, and in that process he met Christina, and people were saying, oh, this sounds great, but we want to do it. And I was like, let's do it. And we were like, we cannot do it because what is happening. So something that came to him is that when some people were in an LSD session, when it was coming to the end and people were still struggling with something, spontaneously they started to do a faster and deeper breath work. So he decided to try this, and Christina had more kind of the music thing, and together they started putting things together, and holotropic breathwork was what came out of here. So, came out of that exploration. So the first thing kind of to show about this work is that lying down with the eyes. We suggest always something covering the eyes, because it's easier to go inside when you are not kind of open your eyes. And it's done in pairs. So before a workshop, we kind of invite people to pair. If they are not coming with somebody, they can pair. And if they are coming with somebody, sometimes we recommend, if they are so close, maybe it's better not to pair with the same person. Just to, there can come things that are related with that person, that maybe having the person sitting next to you is not kind of the best idea in some cases. So we have we have the role of breather and the role of sitter. So in this case, like, she's having the session, the breathwork session, and she's sitting for her, and he's having the session and somebody's sitting for him. So essentially that is the reason that is a whole day, because it's kind of having the chance to, around 2 hours and a half is the music, be there and having the experience of doing the breathwork and then being sitting for the person that was sitting for you when you were doing the breathwork. So so that is the content. The breathing is faster and deeper. It doesn't have any special technique. Many people say, oh, how do you do it? You do it for the nose, by the mouth. it doesn't matter. It's how it comes to you. Many times it can be start with by the nose and then the mouth. It's just to keep it deeper and faster and circular, with no gap between the in-breath and the out-breath. Okay? The second thing important is the evocative music. So I want to invite you, I have a very short sample of the music. So if you feel, to close your eyes and just take like a moment to feel what can come up in this no more than 4 minutes of music. How was that? Did you notice the progression?
Very cool.
Yeah, well, the music set lasts around 2 hours and a half, 2 hours and 40 minutes. So this was like a wonderful work that Dana do, that was the one that will be helping me on the 28th to kind of create this less than 5 minutes sample, but can give you the sense of how the music goes through the whole session, from something that is very evocative to the point that is more kind of helping to connect in a more meditative way at the end of the session after 2 hours and a half, more or less. Okay? So then we do a kind of body work that is more helping to release some things that can be there. We use supportive physical contact in terms of if somebody wants to be hold the hand or hug. Those kind of things are part and are encouraged if it comes up like part of the process. The mandala drawing, it's essentially kind of a paper with a circle that we invite people after the session to just take the time to try to find a way, a non-verbal way to put the experience out there. So it can be a color, it doesn't need to be an art, masterpiece of art. It's just kind of like a good transition from the non-ordinary state of consciousness to the normal state of consciousness. And we end the day with a sharing group, that it's a wonderful way to hear the experience of other people. It really helps to kind of embody more your own experiences. So these are all the components of a holotropic breathwork workshop. So some people say, oh, I have done holotropic breathwork at home. It's like, well, you can have done like faster breathing with music, but for saying that you have done holotropic breathwork, this is what it's considered holotropic breathwork, because essentially it has to do with create a safe space for each person to have the experience that is coming from them. Okay, so it's not just about having an experience and get out there, it's more about how to do it in a way that can be transformative and healing. So, the kind of the most important principle of holotropic breathwork is that whatever comes is what your inner healer is bringing for you at that moment. And the kind of like this I don't want to say idea, because it's not an idea, it's kind of an experience that people have, that whatever is in this moment is what was ready to pop in that moment. And really talking about the potential benefit is very difficult, so it's just a list of things that can be, because I have been even people that had kind of arthritis in the hands, that after a session they are able to open the hand, and it has been for years now open to like feel the hand totally open, that is so physical, kind of specific, to people that have had really very deep changes in terms of the world view, how they see themselves, how they face their emotions, how they can release some old traumas. So just final words of wisdom, and this was drawn by Stan. There says, why do they call you a mystic and me psychotic? A mystic knows with whom not to talk to. So, thank you so much. Any question?
Do you have like a daily practice or an ongoing practice?
What do you mean?
When you have these all day process, do you then take it home with you and do a meditation at home? Or?
In my personal thing, what I have taken as a practice for me, more than the breath work or the meditation, is when we work during the day, we always like people to keep an eye open in your own dynamic, so how things outside trigger you inside and how you can work with that. So even during the session that comes a track that you really hate, and it's like, oh my gosh, change the music. But at the same time, it's going inside and say, okay, what is triggered here? Because probably somebody else is dancing with this track. So it's not the music track itself. It's something that triggers inside me that is coming up. So it's kind of an invitation of, okay, take that as a gift of your inner healer to explore something in this moment. So for me, that is my practice. My practice is how to, in a daily life, try to go inside, I check what is triggered inside me. There are some people, like one person in LA that is doing an online breathwork, for example, that is 3 or 4 times a week. So it's, I think it's 45 or 60 minutes. It's not holotropic breathwork because it's not done in this format, but it can be a way, for example, to do the breathwork in a way that could be a little more contained because it's done with other people. You can see the other people in the camera. But I have experienced, like each one is finding his or her own way to take that to their daily life. So yeah.
Do you listen to the music with headphones or is it?
In the workshop is with the speakers. Yeah.
What is the workshop?
April 28th.
So have you done like research quantitatively, or I don't know the word you, for maybe individuals who have used other tools before they've done this versus somebody who maybe has never used something else and done this, and has there been studies done like to see if does it benefit people more who have had the experience? Only because of coming from Dr. Grof, right, with his experience, it would seem to be formed around those who had LSD experiences. Mm-hmm. So I'm just wondering then, is there a benefit maybe to somebody more so who has versus somebody who hasn't?
Researchers, I haven't heard about researchers specifically in that. In terms of the experience of people, I have heard like everything. Personally, I was stuck in my own process that I was kind of planning maybe I needed something stronger, so I was starting to open my mind 20 years ago in Chile to maybe try a kind of other medicine. And I had the experience with holotropic breathwork, and for me was, okay, this is it.
Okay.
And I didn't go into that other. So I have been with people that have a lot of experience with other kind of medicine, but the main difference is that when you do this work, you connect with your inner healer in a very clear way, because it's nothing else there that is kind of guiding your experience. Working with other medicine, kind of like ayahuasca, peyote, magic mushrooms, there is the concept of an entity that is working on you. So that makes kind of a difference. That was being telling me for people that have done this, that it's different when you are doing that without any other help, that when you are doing it by yourself and whatever comes, you feel that it's coming from yourself. It's not mediated for anything else.
Yeah, speaking of other medicines, I was just wondering if the experience of the breathwork is in any way comparable to the experience of other medicines, and in that many people here have not experienced this modality, but many people have experienced a variety of other medicines and modalities, and if there is anything to hone in on what the experience is like.
I can tell from what people have told me and from my own experiences, it's the qualities, it can be different, some people that have had experience with LSD or with MDMA, for example, they say the kind of experience with holotropic breathwork can be even stronger in some ways than the experience that they can have with this other kind of medicine. But it's very unique, you know, because each person can have a completely different approach in terms of how breathwork work on them and how LSD or how ayahuasca or peyote work on them. So it's this kind of work is really about giving what is for you specifically, more than compared with other people how that works for other people. So it's a lot about having your own experience, and even you can have one experience this week and then have an experience a month could be completely different. As it is with the medicine, with the sacred medicine too, no? Like I can have a total ecstasy with one, and with the other I can be dying and be underground. Yeah. Maybe some one of the main difference is that if you are struggling with a very let's say rough experience in breathwork, you are always under control. So you can always sit down, take your mask, take a deep breath, and the intensity will come down. Not the same with the other that you are in the journey and you cannot get out there until the medicine decides that is your time. In this work, no, you can do that. We don't encourage that because it's like whatever you resist persists. So we really kind of encourage you to go and try to find ways that we can support you in going all the way to that thing is taking you, but you are always aware that you can even kind of say, you know what, I want to go outside, take some air or whatever, and the experience will come down.
What is the rationale for the lying supine, the lying down, versus just moving freely?
Safety. Yeah. When you are lying down and you start the process, you can sit down, you can be on your knees, you can stand up. We always say, if you feel stood up, just do it. It's not more like that my mind is saying, oh, the music is nice, I want to stand up and dance. It's more about what you feel that is coming for you. So when somebody stands up, at least will be the sitter and one or two facilitators around, because kind of standing up, sometimes people can easily kind of fall. So our main goal as facilitators is to create a setting that you will get out there without bruises and without a broken rib or those kind of things, you know? So it's about safety, essentially. And because sometimes you can start getting dizzy, for example, and you say, well, I'm lying down, so below here I won't get. It's like this is the lowest that I can be. So I can explore and feeling dizzy without the fear that I will fall down. So it has to do with that, with really create a situation that you can explore whatever comes as much as you feel to do at that moment.
Is there a point from your experience, like in the session, where you're doing this deep breathing and all of a sudden it becomes automatic and you can explore?
Exactly. That is the way that almost always happens. You do the faster and deeper. We always say, do it the 20 until 45 minutes, and then just let me breathe by whatever comes. Usually, after kind of the first minutes, you forget about the breathwork and you just go with the experience. I like it works for me feeling about a key, like the breathwork is the key that opens the door. But when the door is open, you don't need the key anymore. So this is not about doing the breath work. It's about using the breath work as the key that opens the door. And then after that, it's kind of bicycle too. It's like you do it, and then when you get the speed that you want, you just enjoy the landscape and you just let the bicycle to take you.
Like with some of these other medicines, for ayahuasca, for instance, if you go on a retreat, oftentimes it's recommended that you take a few days for yourself before you go back to work. Mm-hmm. Is it similar with holotropic breathwork? There's like an afterglow kind of period?
It's always recommended to have some time to integrate and to come back. So it's like right after the workshop, we always recommend don't go to a party, try to not go to Walmart, kind of. Costco, kind of be in an environment that can be like the sensorial things so stimulating. And if you have the chance to take a day off the day after, it's always nice. It's not a requirement. It's not like some medicine that definitely you won't be able to be at work the following day. Here is not that. At least the most of the people. I want to say that because some people can get into very intense experience that they are very tired at the end, and maybe the following day it will be more difficult to start moving. But it's not kind of like something that happens that frequently. Usually people after, and the format of the whole day really helps in terms of giving time to just make the landing back in a more kind of soft way, soft way.